Hello, my most amazing artists, and welcome back to week 4 of your Pop Art Onomatopoeias. So far, we have chosen one onomatopoeia to visually illustrate. That means that we are changing each letter of our onomatopoeia into something that reminds us of that sound. So for example, if you did the onomatopoeia TikTok, you could have changed your letters into some clock hands. I saw somebody do little gears, which was really cool. So you can get really creative with your letters. Last week, we created a collage. We basically took magazine paper, newspaper. Someone was very creative and used a coloring page from a coloring book. Good job to you for using your awesome problem-solving skills. That totally works just as fine as a magazine or newspaper. And we just ripped it up and collaged it kind of randomly onto our piece of paper. We were to use black and white so that whenever our onomatopoeia is stuck on that background, it'll stand out really nice. Today, we are going to create the final background. So we did the background for our onomatopoeia. That's where our letters are gonna go. And now we have to make the background where our collage is going to go. So it's like a background on a background, kind of. This artwork has a lot of different layers, but this is going to be the last background that we make, I promise. I'm really excited about this background in particular because we're going to learn a really cool printmaking technique that maybe you've never tried before. And I'm going to show you exactly how to do that in just a little bit. But first, let's quickly go over the materials that you're going to need to create this. Of course, you're going to need a piece of paper. Mine is larger than my collage because I know that our collage that we made last time is going to sit on top of this. And I chose to do a blue background, but you can choose any color you want. Along with paper, you're also, of course, going to need some bubble wrap. Don't worry if you cannot get bubble wrap, totally not required. There's a lot of different ways that you can do your Ben-Day dot background. One of those ways is some Legos. As you can see, they have little dots on them, and we can do the same exact technique that we're going to do with our bubble wrap that I'm about to show you. You can do the same thing with Legos. If you don't have bubble wrap or Legos, then you can just draw your circles on your paper using a colored pencil, crayon, marker, whatever you guys have. For the printmaking technique, you're also going to need a paintbrush, a messy mat because it does get a little bit messy, and something to clean your paintbrush with. I'm going to use water and a sponge. And that is everything that you're going to need to create this really awesome, super effective Ben-Day dot background. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. First thing that you want to do is, of course, write your name, and then we're going to flip our paper over so now our name is on the back. So in this project, you have a few different color choices. Overall, you can use 2 rainbow colors and any of the 4 neutral colors. And the 4 neutral colors are white, brown, gray, or black. So you can use any of those 4 colors how you want, and you can have 2 additional rainbow colors: red, orange, yellow, blue, green, violet, those colors, okay? For me, I've already used a very light purple color, kind of lavender color. Now I'm choosing another rainbow color, and with my paint I can choose a neutral color because I already have 2 rainbow colors, purple and blue here. So now all I have left is a choice of my neutral colors. And for me, since I already have blue, what I want to do is I want to do like a light blue color. Okay, and to make a light blue, all I have to do is grab some blue paint and some white paint and mix it together on my actual bubble wrap. Okay, so let's say your letters are brown. That's a neutral color. So for your background, you can have 2 rainbow colors. But if you already have a rainbow color with your letters, then in this background, you can only choose 1 more rainbow color and any neutral colors that you want to. Again, the neutral colors are white, brown, black, and gray. Okay? For my bubbles, my plan is to mix blue and white together to create a very light blue because my word is bubble, so I'm thinking very light, very airy, and that's what comes to mind is like a light blue color. I'm going to use a neutral color white, and I'm going to use the rainbow color blue to create my Ben-Day dots. Okay, and as you can see in my palette, I do not have a light blue, so I'm going to have to mix it. And to do that, I am just going to grab some blue paint. And I'm going to put it right onto my bubble wrap. Now I'm actually going to move my final paper off to the side because I don't want to get paint all over it. and I am just painting that blue paint on like that. And we want to do this kind of fast because this kind of paint tends to dry out really quickly, and if it dries, then it's not going to transfer to your paper. So we need to do it a little bit faster than you might think. And I am just going back and forth. You don't have to be super neat with this. The only thing is that we don't want a lot of paint, like big globs of paint. We just want a nice even coverage. If you put too much paint, then it's just gonna look like globs on your paper, and we don't want that. We wanna be able to see those beautiful dots that these bubbles are gonna create. So I am just going to fill this whole entire piece of bubble wrap with blue all the way across, making sure not to leave any parts left unpainted. Clean my paintbrush. I'm just gonna draw an X in my water and an X on dirty old SpongeBob over here. I have chosen again to do a light blue color, so now I'm just adding some white to this blue, and as you can see, when I mix that white in, it's becoming a lot brighter. That actually is creating a tint of blue. A tint of blue is a lighter version of blue. As you notice, I am cleaning my paintbrush every time I go back and get some more white, because what happens is this white is mixing with the blue and it's getting blue on my paintbrush, and I don't want to get that in the white part of my palette, so I'm just cleaning it quickly, because remember, we don't want to go super slow with this. And I'm just adding more white to make a light blue. And honestly, I think I want it brighter than this, so I'm just gonna keep on adding some more white until I'm happy with the color. All right, I'm pretty happy with that. So now my fingers are a little bit messy, so I need to be careful. When I pick up my final piece of paper, I'm just gonna bring it back over here. And I picked up my bubble wrap, and I'm just going to start up on this corner over here. I'm gonna lay it down very carefully. Once it's down, we don't wanna move it, okay? We can't smear it around, because then it's just gonna be a big old paint smear and we won't be able to see those little bubbles. So I'm just carefully pressing down on my bubble wrap, making sure not to pop the bubbles, because then we can't use this anymore for printmaking. Just applying a little bit of pressure all the way across, making sure my bubble wrap is still staying in the same place. Because remember, if it moves, it's just gonna smear paint across our paper, and we do not want that. All right, once you have pressed down on all parts of your bubble wrap, we are just gonna take a corner and peel up. And look at that. You can see all of those cool little bubbles. It looks like the Ben-Day dots that pop artists would use in their artwork. And this bubble wrap is still very wet with paint, so you know what I can actually do is I can print again. So I can just line it up right next to the last print that I did, press it down, making sure not to move it around. And what I just did is actually called a ghost print. And a ghost print is whenever you print twice from one round of painting. So I just painted this one time, but I can do 2 prints out of it. And after you do your first one, the next ones are called ghost prints, because when you peel up, you'll notice they don't show up as well as the other one. It kind of looks like a ghost print. It's almost more transparent, but you can still see it very well, and it looks super cool. After the second one, I think this paint is starting to dry. So once your paint starts drying, that means you need to add more paint to your bubble wrap. Washing my paintbrush again. If SpongeBob gets too dirty, you can use your paintbrush and just kind of flip him over. Carefully flip him over like that. And apply more paint. And on the second round of applying some paint, I'm just really seeing where it has dried, and I'm just gonna add a little bit more paint to those areas. I don't need to keep adding a whole entire layer every single time, because some of this paint is still pretty wet. Just gonna go back over the dry areas. All right, that looks good. So I'm gonna pick up my bubble wrap very carefully, bring over my final paper, And I'm gonna use both hands, and I'm just holding the corners of my bubble wrap, and I'm gonna line it up, the bottom with the bottom of my other two prints that I've done. And I'm just gonna lay it down. All right, it might not be perfect. Mine is overhanging a little bit, but we don't want to pick it back up. Once it's down, it is down, okay? And I am just going to massage it. Don't press down too hard or else you'll pop those bubbles and we won't be able to use it anymore, okay? Press it down and peel up. There you go. I just flipped my paper around because I still have this half of my paper to do. I'm gonna do a ghost print, and I'm just gonna lie my bubble wrap down and press down again. And peel up on one of the corners, and there you go. As you can see, I just have 2 more spots left, and I'm gonna go ahead and do that, and I'll be right back to show you the final print. All right, and here is my final Ben-Day dot background. This is going to be the main background of our onomatopoeia. And as you can see, it ends up looking really, really cool. I totally transformed this construction paper into something absolutely amazing. Make sure you hold on to this along with your black and white collage background and your letters for your onomatopoeia, because we are going to put it all together very soon. I hope you guys had a lot of fun with this cool bubble wrap printing technique. I hope you learned something new. I can't wait to see how yours turn out. I know they're going to be amazing because you guys are amazing. All right, I'll see you guys next time. Bye, guys.